Hello and good day everyone. Welcome to the Live Life Conference 2021. I am Bo. I am RJ Moriones, a lay missionary for the Live Christ Share Christ mission, serving in the Live Life pillar. Family is an important component of society and of the church. It is the primary unit of communities and it is the domestic church. That is why in this conference, we wanted to highlight the family and how it can be a source of love and life to every individual, to the community, and to the world. There are many reasons to celebrate this year, even if we are still in the pandemic. The crisis we are in right now will not dampen our spirits to know more about the plan of God for ourselves and for our families. We are happy to share with you this event that will highlight our desire to be a gift to others and our eagerness to celebrate the beauty of marriage, family, and life. The pandemic will not stop us in proclaiming the gospel of life to everyone. We, in Live Life, are empowered by the Holy Spirit to become God's beacon of light to the ends of the earth. As we celebrate 500 years of our Christian faith, and as we observe the Amores Laetitia Family Year, we bring to you the Live Life Conference 2021 Sessions on Demand. We created Sessions on Demand videos to help appreciate the beauty of marriages and family and to develop a society that embraces the culture of life. We want everyone, yes, to be empowered with the truth as we all respond to the constant attack of evil forces against families. We want all of you to appreciate the beauty of life and respond by sharing this gift to everyone. As you watch at the comfort of your homes, we want you to open your mind and heart to everything that will be shared and revealed to you. Be assured that the speakers were handpicked and they are the best in their fields to discuss the topics presented. It will be an exciting opportunity to learn. We have prepared two segments for the workshop, the culture of life and the culture of death. In the culture of life segment, we will highlight ways on how we can build up a strong family for Christ and empower everyone to embrace the gospel of life at home. And as for the culture of death, we will enlighten everyone about the realities of this culture that opposes God's way for families and marriages. We will offer to our participants ways on how to address these issues and become a light to everyone. We promise you that these online sessions will help and equip us to further the mission of proclaiming the gospel of life to everyone. Let us be bearers of God's light to the world. Let us lead everyone back home so that they may see God's amazing love and beautiful plan for every family. Have a grace-filled day ahead of you. Enjoy and God bless.
Good day, everyone. We are Victor and CATHY CHAM, both architects by profession. We own CHAM Candelaria Incorporated, our architectural office, which I personally manage. And we also own Vico's Artisan Gallery, which is managed by, of course, my lovely wife, CATHY.
We've known each other for 41 years, happily married for 35, and we were first college sweethearts in UST. I worked for 20 years in corporate offices before I joined CHAM Candelaria Inc. in 2003 after my early retirement. We are blessed with two sons. Our firstborn is Carlos, also an architect, and our second child is Vico, an artist.
We joined Missionary Families of Christ back in 1997 and now on our 24th year in the community. We are members of the Beloved Families since we have a special child with autism, whose name is Vico.
Vico was diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder at age 2 years and 8 months. But even as early as 2 years old, I noticed that he had a different development compared to Kuya Carlos. I saw this in their baby books. And when I was told first by the developmental pedia that he had autism, it was really devastating for me. Maybe my first reaction was I was stunned, and I probably had a blank face because I didn't know what autism then. It was too vague for me. Autism awareness was very low that time. That was 1994. And I questioned the Lord, why Vico? And why would he be different? It was that night when I got home, before sleeping, that I really cried hard. I cried hard kasi I knew that Vico would be growing up differently from all of us, from all of our children. But it is with my fervent prayers that I learned and had to accept God's gift. And that night, I had to submit to God's will. Vico's development started to regress when he turned 2 years old. He lost his eye contact, his speech, his interaction with Kuya Carlos was really none at all. And Kuya Carlos would question me. He's not playing with me. And I really had to explain all over again why Vico doesn't play with him. We all noticed that he flapped his hands. He played with his toys. He lined it up horizontally, vertically, and then he would spin a lot. And it was these signs which made me decide to see our developmental pediatrician. Then later I realized that the parents had similar, if not exactly the same experiences with their children in the spectrum. It was physically, emotionally, and financially challenging. So a brief background about autism. Autism is, or autism spectrum disorder, refers to a broad range of conditions characterized by challenges with social skills, repetitive behaviors, speech, and nonverbal communication. Based on my limited knowledge, then, persons with autism have another way of perceiving his world. As described by many, most of the time, they live in their own world. The spectrum varies from one person to another, and you have to understand that no two persons with autism are the same. As to what causes autism, there are possible factors shortlisted, yet none of this is determined or proven. So I learned to know and accept the condition and submitted to conduct early diagnosis and administer early intervention.
Looking back 29 years, I was a young architect given the golden opportunity to work in Hong Kong. I had dreams of recognition and a better life for my family. I was on my 3rd year when Vico was diagnosed with autism. CATHY opted not to let me know first. During that time, she made all the necessary arrangements for Vico's mental, social, and physical development. By the end of that year, CATHY finally revealed Vico's condition. Sabi ko, ano yun? So CATHY tirelessly explained all she learned, plus the preparations she made. Then the challenge was posed. According to the developmental pediatrician, it is critical in Vico's full development as a person to have a father and a mother image. That means We have to be together. But being the stubborn dreamer that I was, with my successful career in view, I said, why not join me here in Hong Kong? I'll take care of you. Kathy didn't agree since Hong Kong at that time had very little awareness on autism. And to make matters worse, there was the language barrier. I tried putting off the big life decision of where our family will live. What I did was to make my visits to Manila more frequent, like every 2 months. Sure, it was easy during my visit to connect with Carlos. But with Vico, I always had to start from zero because he hardly recognizes me. Realizing my connection with Vico was going nowhere, I became frustrated and desperate for a solution. My Sundays in Hong Kong are spent first with going to Mass. That particular Sunday, after the Mass, I stayed on, sat down until all the people had left. I silently prayed, then sat after to clear my head. And then a voice whispered, "Go home to your family." That moment, I felt an assurance that everything will be all right. The next thing I did was call Kathy to tell her I'm coming home. I was actually in line for a promotion. So, my employer was shocked to learn that I was resigning. I went back home to Kathy, Carlos, and Vico. It was timely to be back as Carlos was beginning to ask questions like why Vico wouldn't play with me. So I put balance in the family by giving equal attention and love to Carlos.
When I accepted Vico's gift, God taught me to embrace autism. I arranged for his early intervention program, which included speech, occupational therapy, and special education. And the most difficult stage that we went through was from his age 3 to 8 years old. As a working mother, I had to spend quality time with him and check all of his school programs and make sure that it's effective at home also. I had to follow through and make sure that we have an effective result on all of the programs. I had to be patient and understanding, especially during those trials together with the family. As simple as having his hair cut, eating in McDonald's, going to church, and attending children's party. It was really difficult for all of us to handle Vico. But we had to correct his behavior. And it took years for him to understand proper behavior with people and in other places. June and I learned to take Vico's development in small steps. With God's grace, Vico graduated in Shine Special Education Center and completed his basic computer graphic design.
Vico as a young boy was always fond of watching TV. Mahilig siya manood nung teleserye, no, tsaka anime. His favorite TV shows were cartoons. He had his favorite TV show called Blue's Clues. At an early age, Vico started to do line drawings, which mimics his favorite cartoon characters. And of course, yung mga actresses ng kanyang favorite telenovelas. These drawings, they became so many that Kathy and I decided to store them up. And eventually, ginawa po namin silang bookmarks na pinangre-regalo po namin. Nung bumalik po ako, right after no, sa 1996, coming from Hong Kong, parang self-employed po ako. So, I had my office in one of the rooms of our house. In 1999, when Vico was age 8. His school introduced their art program for their students. Kathy and I actually were relieved and happy, no, that positive yung response ni Vico to color. So this was the first time that he used the brush and watercolor, no, yung ginagamit po niya sa kanyang art, kanyang drawings. When he was age 10, that was 20 years ago, his gift was revealed to us. We were at home, si Cathy at ako, we were taking a break from work. While we're resting, Vico quietly slipped inside my office and he took one of my blueprints, no, which is size 24 by 36 inches. And then about 20 minutes after, when we came out, nakita namin si Vico nakadapa na lang sa floor, may ginagawa. He was busy with something. So we were curious. Nagulat na lang kami yung nakita namin, no, sa ginagawa niya. Actually, at that time, it was already a fully rendered, no? Ibig sabihin, buo na. Kasama na yung colors, lahat of yung background ng kanyang favorite program na Blue's Clues. Complete scenario yon, no? We have the sky, we have the grass, we have flowers, we have the trees, clouds, and of course, the house of the main character, si Blue. The Lord led Cathy and me to realize that this was Vico's gift. His gift was to express the beauty he sees in all things by his art. So after that, nagsubok kami na bigyan si Vico ng iba't ibang materyales, no, sa sining. He enjoyed, no, si Vico at the most yung using color pencils, no, and color pens. From yung color pen artwork niya, yun yung una niyang ginagawa, no, he transitioned eventually into digital, meaning computer na ginagawa niya. Yung digital art niya, ang ginagamit lang niyang program ay actually the basic program ng any Windows system, no, na computer, which is called Paint. Si Vico, he's able to draw, execute his art. Kung ano yung ginagawa niya sa color pen and pencil drawings niya noon, nagagawa niya sa digital, no? And this was using a mouse dun sa computer. And he's able to do all of this. He was able to produce, this one we discovered also, that he had done 52 artwork files. He had it in one of his folders doon sa computer. Noong 2011, that was 10 years ago, si Vico had his first one-man exhibit. This was, of course, made possible by the collaborative sponsorship of Autism Society Philippines and, of course, SM Cares. Doon sa exhibit, Vico had a total of like 65 artworks. That was combined, no? Both his digital and his color pen artworks. In 2012, si Vico began his passion now for acrylic, no? Acrylic paintings na. Mahilig ko kaming mamasyal, no, dito sa Shangri-La Mall. In one of our visits, we came across Art Circle, yung art section ng Shangri-La. So, nung napunta po kami doon, nakita po namin tong ongoing na art tutorials, which was named Silab. We had an idea. So, why not try Vico out for painting this time? Everything went well. With the first session, no, as Vico was blessed, no, with an elderly artist willing to try his hand, actually, no, in coaching, at the same time, learning, no, from a student who has autism. Well, the next thing is history. Acrylic on canvas became Vico's medium. Yan na yung current na niya ngayon, ginagawa niya lagi. Mga pieces niya are all acrylic on canvas. To add to that, Vico was also able to master, no, the art of painting already on different surface materials, particularly on fabrics, different fabrics. More recent work niya on fabric is actually pinya, which were made into garments. And then, of course, we have fans and bags, which are made of buri and banig. So, si Vico at this time has been able to produce over 100 different works in the field of art, garments, fashion accessories, and of course household items. So while I'm sharing all that Vico has achieved in his journey with his talent for visual arts. Our recollections continue to amaze us with what God can do for those who continue to trust and follow His ways.
An important part of Vico's development is having group supports from our families and friends. We are so blessed to have both the CHAMs and Candelarias to accept and love Vico, whom they consider as the angel of the family. We have full support in all of Vico's activities such as art exhibits, caroling, and other different shows. We joined organizations like Autism Society Philippines, Association for Adults with Autism Philippines, Best Buddies, Boundless Possibilities, ANCA, Autistic Network for Community Achievers, and the Missionary Families for Christ. Each group contributed to Vico's growth and social development. Vico is now an ambassador for Best Buddies Philippines and ANCA. He's an active member of other groups, especially the MFC, where he started as Kids for Christ, Youth, and now he is a certified Singles for Family and Life. He is a favorite Rosary prayer leader. Vico is well accepted and loved by communities in all sectors. And for this, we are truly grateful.
Going back to 1996, after 4 fulfilling years of overseas contract work, I packed my bags and returned home to our family to be together. I was psyching myself, saying, "Oh, it won't be so bad. I'll be able to get work with my credentials." Maliwanag sa mga nabumuhay ng dekada 90 na bagsak ang ekonomiya ng Pilipinas. Samantalang Asya, lalo na ang China, puno ng trabaho sa konstruksyon. That is why there was an exodus of architects and engineers. I must admit, the question did linger in my head. Did I throw away my opportunity? Within the first year, I applied with several offices, only to be declined one after the next. My private commissions, likewise, were to a minimum. As the months passed, our expenses ate most of my savings. CATHY was still with corporate and became the breadwinner. I started being embarrassed and frustrated since I felt useless. To add, I had to work on relating and getting Vico's recognition of my presence, which was a great hurdle. Vico exhibited many autism symptoms, especially his tantrums. Each time meron siyang meltdown, I would have my own version to respond and would always tell Vico to keep quiet. And after every encounter, I just can't help but feeling more of a failure. At one point, I asked, "God, why did you have to let me taste success? Just to take it all away. Sana hindi mo na pinatikim ito." A year passed, I continue to work with small jobs, makadagdag lang sa budget. One time, we had a dinner gathering with close friends Toti and Ning de Guzman, who were then members of Couples for Christ. They invited us to attend the Christian Life program. CATHY patiently worked on convincing me until I finally said yes. We finished the CLP and was assigned to a household. There, we learned to be faithful to God's promises and follow His ways. Welcome changes began to show. Vico started to lessen his tantrums, acknowledge, and go with me. Well, he called everyone first Mama, but later called me Papa. Such music to my ears. Our friend, Toti, offered me to work as a design consultant in his office. There I stayed for 2 years, which allowed me to regain my confidence and my finances. At the turn of the millennium, Vico continued to improve in his behavior and intellect. This was also the period when his gift from the Lord for visual arts was revealed to Kathy and me. Our relationship with God started to be more committed the first time. Our elders were led to assign us to be couple coordinators for the Kids for Christ ministry, which we accepted.
After many years of autism intervention and challenges, together we were able to harness God's gift to Vico. From his first global award in 2014 for his Philippine entry Clownfish in art competition organized by Autism Trust Foundation in Dubai, so many blessings and awards just followed. In 2013, right after his graduation, he was hired by Unilove Foundation under the program of Project Inclusion, where persons with disabilities are given opportunities to work in a corporate office. In 2015, Vico received one of the most prestigious awards in the country, the Apolinario Mabini PWD of the Year and a Model Employee. 2016, we were blessed to open our dream, which is a Vico's Artism Gallery. This is Vico's personal studio, and now a center for young artists with special needs, mentored by Vico's teachers. June and I traveled the world to chaperone Vico to his different events, such as the Fashion for Hope in New York, where his hand-painted piña fabric were showcased together with 6 other artists. He received awards from ANCA, Vancouver, Canada, for excellence in his visual arts. He attended his Best Buddies Leadership Conference in Indiana, and his latest feat in Tokyo, where he won for his Kadal Tahaw entry as top 3 in the 2019 Paralim Art World Cup competition. In 2018, Vico was chosen the most inspiring delegate in the World Singles Congress, where he shared his journey with God and autism. God continues to fulfill his promise for Vico, and we will forever be grateful and will continue to glorify him for his unconditional love for Vico and our family. Mahirap magpalaki ng anak, at lalong mahirap ang may kapansanan dahil may ibang pangangailangan. Pero sa tulong ng Panginoon na tunay nagmamahal sa ating lahat, walang imposible. Tanggapin, yakapin, mahalin natin ang ating mga anak, may kapansanan man o wala, dahil lahat sila ay mga anak ng Diyos na nagmamahal ng tunay.
People ask how we were able to cope up with all our trials. Our answer is simple. We simply submit to God's will and held on to His promise. In closing, we would like to share with you 2 beautiful verses that we find very meaningful. From the first letter of Peter, cast your cares to Him, for He cares for you. And from the Gospel of Matthew, let the children come to me, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Let us live life in accordance to God's will, and He will take care of everything. May God be praised.